Hello guys, Rodney McClure here. This is our first tint job for the 2024 season. Our last one was a 2020 Ford F-150. So this first one is a 2023 F-150. We'll be matching the two fronts with some CFX from Solar FX. This is our plotter. It's a state-of-the-art process that we use to cut the film. This way, we don't have to put a knife on your glass and risk cutting your glass or your rubber trim. Now, we did hand cut for over 30 years, but you know, times change and we have to move up and advance and create different ways to get our services in and out faster, more efficient, and save on film. And that's what this plotter does for us. We usually tend about 5 vehicles a day, so this plotter has cut our time down a good bit. While we're prepping the windows, this machine's going and cutting our film. Now we've got the door panels covered up so we don't get any kind of moisture down into the panels and the electronics. What we're doing now, we're spraying our actually prep solution on it, which is called pre-tack. A friend of ours named Ralph Van Pelt has this stuff made. It's his product, and what we're prepping the window with now is a organic pad, which is made from walnut shells. And why we choose to use this is the blue ones are a little coarse, the white ones are a little stringy, get too many fibers, and when you get fibers under your film, it just doesn't do you any good. Now, what we're doing now, this is called our safe prep. It's a real hard plastic blade. We like to use it on any vehicle that has a laminated glass, meaning two pieces of glass sandwiched together over a piece of plastic, like a windshield is done. These Ford trucks have it, a lot of the other vehicles have it. It's a sound deadening property. Now, what I'm doing now, if you notice, is I'm squeezing it or scraping this thing. I scrape it methodically, but I scrape it straight up and down. And the reason I'm doing that is to push any kind of solution or trash straight down. You don't want to move it side to side and all over the window, because if you do that, you'll end up, depositing, lifting, deposit, trash all over the window. Then you'll end up with some issues there. And with this being a laminated glass, there's another step we have to take when we do it, and it's just a precaution we have when we're doing these things. So right now we're gonna take this brush and clean that gap in the top where the laminates are pressed together. You can get grit down in there, and when you tint the windows, squeegee, if you shave or do a real close edge, you can push water up or solution, and it suspends the actual grit in top of that thing, and it falls in behind your film, and the top edge of your glass doesn't look too presentable. Now, this tool I'm using here is a custom cut tool. We don't sell this on our site, but a lot of these tools we can produce for you. If you see something on here that we don't have on our site that you're interested in, let me know. We'd love to help you out with that. Now, what we've done with this thing here is we've been cleaned the window and got everything going. We're going to ease it all the way up to the top so we can squeegee this very bottom edge. And as we squeegee all that, we get all the debris out from in there. Now we're wiping that top edge one more time. Now we're going to spray this window. We're going to take our what we call automotive prep squeegee. This thing's about 3.5 inches across the edge of the blade with a Mormon blue blade in it, which is used in most glass cleaning companies use it. It's a really good product. And I'm walking it left to right, left to right. We call it the Australian shuffle. Those guys over there really like to use this material and type squeegee. And it works well because what it's doing is dragging that film, the slip, and feeding it down. Now you see me holding that thing up. It fits in the palm of your hand, put it in your pocket, all that good stuff. This is that tool again. It's got a rubber edge on it. We're pumping the fluid down in there and rinsing the actual debris that could have gotten the edges all the way down, which would have been deposited by that other squeegee. Now we're flushing the bottom because we're not going to let it back up. We've already cleaned that one time, and we'll wet it good. We'll go over and grab the piece of film, and I do what we call bottom loading. I have the seal pulled out, or the rub rails. The seal goes between the door panel and the window. We do have it removed. So I bring my film in and drop it off in the groove there. Now what I'm showing you here on the back side, when I'm making that motion, we put this film on there, we simultaneously put it flat on the glass and push it up in that corner. We do that so it don't have any kind of fingers or gaps in it to suck any kind of trash in. It sort of works like a squeegee in action itself. pushes that film up against the window and pushes anything that's floating on the window back up in the rubber seal. So now I position it where it fits pretty good. This plotter cut pattern does a really good job on this truck. The whoever designed that pattern got it spot on. Now there is some tolerance stuff there that goes on with these windows, because these windows are cut and then hand sanded across the top before they're installed in the vehicles, or when they're made. But not every template is going to be exactly the same, because whoever made the template for this one may not have had the same style glass as the other person that's installing it. So I always cut my patterns a little long, and then that way I can go in and shave the edge. Now I was first tacking it down there. That's a link to. We designed that thing several years ago, and as fate would have it, China copied the handle, which really didn't bother me because I'm not in the handle business. I'm in the squeegee business. So Gasket Pro Tools, we make the squeegees, and that was tacking it down with that one. Now, this right here is what we call this blade right here. This is a yellow Maximus. It's a dual durometer or dual density hybrid type blade. It's one of the first in the industry to have a crop cut dual durometer blade. You can access the top side, which is a 85 durometer, and then the back side, which is a 94 durometer or 95, without taking it out of the actual handle. It's a pretty cool deal. And the way we were able to do that, we do what we call Hydra V technology. We have a V in between the two pieces of material, and that way we can just access both sides. Now that tool I'm using there, that is our Vader blade, and it's got our ultra slick tape on it. The way we put that tape on there, we put a piece of door edge molding, which is PPF, on first, and we put that tape over to make it bond really well. The tape sells good, but it's really pricey, but it lasts, forever. So now we've got the window. What I'm doing is, as I push the film down into below the seal, you see me wiping it off every time. A lot of people ask, will your squeegee blade scratch? Of course they will. All of them will. But they're not designed to scratch. You may pick up debris from down that bottom and pick it up, and that's what causes the scratching. Now, you see me make that motion, moving my hand to the right. We're doing what we call cheating the fingers. Right above that towel is a finger. We cut these patterns on the plotter so you can shrink it from back to front and not up and down. The film only shrinks two directions, left and right, or up and down, depending on which way you cut it. Now we call it slamming the fingers or cheating the fingers. You see me doing an arc. What I'm telling you is, when you move that film, you want to gather any kind of slack up in fingers and put it in the corner in the bottom, deposit everything off in there. Once we get through doing that, we will hit the sides one more time, making sure they're seated, and we'll do a final squeegee with the Maximus, which is an extraction squeegee pass, pushing the rest of the water out. Cold weather, the last thing you want to do is not extract. A lot of people think that you can do it with this squeegee and that squeegee. You can, but we have several videos showing we can do it with every squeegee we can find, and then come back with this one. For some reason, we're able to gather more slip up and push it out, and it just really works well. And like I was saying before, when we squeegee, when we let this window down, we don't run that squeegee blade up across the top edge of the glass. You can cut the squeegee and make it, nick it, but it's like anything else. Is take care of your money makers. These squeegees aren't cheap, but with the kind of money we make, keep you a couple on hand. If you're running on empty and you only have one squeegee, that's even more reason to take care of it. So we're going to take again this tool here, and it's got a rubber edge on it. Now you can do all that with a hard card, but I can promise you, a hard card will not move the water that a rubber edge will. You can cram it down there and press it down and crush it down, but it's smooth when this thing does it. It just works across it. Now I'm gonna do this edge. You see, I'm dragging it backward, and the edge is not going. The blade's not going over the top. Now if I'm gonna go across the top, I push it all the way up and past it, and lift it before I bring it back down. Now this blade here does have the 85 on top and the 94 on the bottom, and I'm showing you that V groove in there. That's what makes it possible to do that. So it conforms to the glass better than the regular sledgehammer, because it's only half as thick, 94 durometer, and the other half is 85. Now here we are with the Vader blade again, and as you're doing that, you want to take a quarter of a way up at the top and push up, and same on the front. You don't want to start at the very top and pull down, because you can pull the film loose. Now you see how that thing's gliding on there. We're putting heat on it, still glides. It's got our ultra slick tape on it, and man, it glides and bonds that film down. The reason I'm heating this from the inside is you cannot or you should not, or you best not, heat laminated glass from the outside hot enough to get the inside warm in order to squeeze it down and make sure it's tacked up, because you can crack the window because it's two really thin layers of glass sandwiched, you know, with a piece of plastic sandwich between the two. So I'm just doing this final run over on that and making sure I've got all the moisture out. You see I've not sprayed any more water on it. That thing is gliding like crazy. If you haven't tried some of that stuff, I'm just telling you, it's the cat's meow. Now, what we're doing now is we're going to use our Tinting grouping knife. It's a knife specifically made for a 30-degree blade, sort of like an art knife. It's the way it's done is completely different. It's a cool looking blade, cool looking knife. It's lightweight. It's got these small increments to slide the blade out like the red dot, but the blade tends to, the housing tends to be just a tad longer and a little narrower, so it works really well. And if you're ever shaving a window and you feel it chattering, just stop right where you're at and turn around and start from the other side and see if it's not smoother. Go in the other direction, because what you're running into is where they ground that edge of that glass and sand it from the factory. If it goes smooth, you're going with the grain. If it doesn't go smooth, you're going against the grain. So I've made that first cut from the left to the right, and I'm going back and just touching up the edge on it. Then I'll go all the way up to the top again. And when I do it, we try to make a pass where it almost leaves the whole piece of edge of film, like peeling an apple. You see me pulling it up over there. That's a piece of film that we've cut off of it. And we're going to try to leave it in one piece for you. It's a little competition we have at our shop when we're doing this. You know, my granddad used to be sitting on the porch and he'd peel an apple, and he'd peel the whole apple off with his pocket knife, the whole skin off, and not break a piece. So we do this, and we just call it our peel competition when we're doing it, so we can leave that whole piece full length. And it's just a pretty cool deal to do. It's just something to pass the time when we're at the shop. We have a good time when we're working. I've been doing this for 38 years. Bruce, our other helper, he's been doing it for over 20 years. And then Alex, he's our new guy, and he's been at it for about 4 months now, 5, and he's really showing promise. He does a good job. I'm gonna grab the camera and bring it over here. And something else, I don't know about this lighting. I've just got my actual iPhone mounted on a rubber mount over there, and it sure does look bright in there. I mean, and I really don't know how to adjust it on this actual editing software. It's an old Windows movie maker software, but it's simple to work for simple people like me. But that edge is great on it. What I'm going to do is something a little different than most folks do when they're done. When I'm tinting a window, I can tell you if it's going to have trash, if it's a good job right off the bat from the inside, because I can tell when I'm squeegeeing it. Now, some people get over there, and I'll show you when I'm doing this, I'll start moving that camera real fast around. I say, some people will try to show you like this, and say, look what I done, or look over here. They're missing the point. The point is, get close on it, show your work. If not, just leave that part out of the video. But we try to do it on all of them. I thought I saw a little spot of something there, but it was on the outside. Y'all probably thought it was something too. Thought you got me, huh? Anyway, I'm certainly not infallible, but we love to do what we do, and here we are.